Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is an urgent warning to act now. No, that's not my urgent warning. This is an urgent warning that is coming out from various outlets and various people who have put together some quite damning data points. And listen, guys, when I talk about this stuff, I have been sending these warnings for a while. The global economy runs on diesel. It does. Everything runs on diesel. The whole world runs on diesel. And when you have a diesel shortage, that affects everything. That absolutely affects everything. So what I'm going to do in this live stream is I'm going to talk to you guys about the title I've got up there, 8 weeks to empty shelves and 60 days to famine. Now, the link to this article, I've attached that down at the bottom. So I have attached the link to the article down at the bottom, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get into this guys, okay? Because is it that one? Yeah, because there's quite a lot of stuff I need to get through on this, and I have summarized quite a lot. So let me share with you guys this video to start with, and then I'll share a video, and then I will take over. So this guy here, he's just done a 23-part warning. He's done 23 videos, and they're all about 2 to 3 minutes long. Obviously, I'm not going to share all those videos with you because it would take you guys forever. So I'm going to share the first one. I might share the first 2, and then I will summarize the rest of it.
So this is going to be a multi-series post. I'm going to do some videos and read you the article that I read about a guy that's predicting fuel shortage or I'll just read it to you. By July 4th is what he's predicting. I'll do it in parts, and I'll post each part under this original video. This was written by Mark A. Shryok, S-H-R-Y-O-C-K. 8 weeks to empty shelves, 60 days to famine. What caused it and what you need to do immediately. Or Mark A. Shryok. I called this timeline months ago, June and July 2026. I said it when there was no data to support it. I said it when people thought I was wrong. I said it even when the AI systems I work with told me I was getting ahead of this evidence. I said it because I could see the conversions coming through my training in systems analysis, and because something deeper than data was telling me the timeline was right.
When I share things with you guys, it's because they resonate with me. You know, if somebody's sharing things and I think these are valid points, I will share this. And this is one of those videos.
Now the data is here and it confirms everything. I have run this research across 4 separate large language models. I have cross-referenced every claim against the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the International Energy Agency, Bloomberg, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Fortune, the Associated Press, Reuters, PBS, CNN, and the United Nations. I have verified the expert assessments from the Carlyle Group, Rystad Energy, Shell, Chevron, and the EIA administrator himself. What I'm about to show you is not speculation. It is not opinion. It is the documented, sourced, verified trajectory of the global oil supply as it exists right now.
So when he said that, this is not speculation, analysis, and opinion, or whatever he said. It was resonating with me because I was like, well, I talk like that, right? And when I'm talking about military stuff and I say, guys, this is not speculation, analysis, and opinion, it's because I know with 100% fact what I'm talking about. And when other people say that, straight away, I think, one, they're either following my channel, which on this case I think is unlikely, or 2, they do know what they're talking about. Remember, all the information that you guys need to know for everything in the world. What's it? Oh, the X-Files. I think it was it? Danielle something on the live stream earlier was talking about hantavirus, and she suggested to watch an episode of the X-Files. At the end of the X-Files, or the beginning or something, it says the truth is out there, and it's absolutely true. That it is. Any information you want to know, it's already available. You just need to know what to look for and what not to look for.
On May 8th, 2026. If you can hear me, your life depends on what is in this article. I am not being dramatic. I am not overstating this. I am telling you that the data says that the United States of America will run out of usable oil by July 4th, 2026. Europe will run out this month. The food system that feeds you runs on diesel. Diesel runs out fast. Read this, understand it, act on it today, not tomorrow.
Okay, so let me just rewind that bit there, because that's
what is in this article. I am not being dramatic. I'm not.
So he's saying the United States are going to run out of fuel. He said the United States are going to run out of fuel the 4th of July, and Europe is going to run out of fuel next month. That's what he's saying. We're in Europe, right?
Overstating this, I'm telling you that the data says that the United States of America will.
So listen into this, guys, because he's going to focus on the United States, but here in the United Kingdom and Europe, we are in a much worse situation. He's mentioning diesel. How many times have I been on this stream, guys, and said to everyone, diesel's going to be gone, gone, gone. The military will take the diesel. And that's right, and that's proper, and that has to happen. If you've got a diesel car, that's going to leave you in the lurch, right? People thought I was crazy. Like a couple of years back when I bought my bug-out vehicle, and I bought a petrol vehicle, and people said, oh, what you got petrol for? Diesel's 30% more efficient. I was like, yeah, but if I have to use a bug-out vehicle, there ain't going to be no diesel. The military are going to take that. Turns out,
will run out of usable oil by July 4th, 2026. Europe will run out this month. The food system that feeds you runs on diesel.
He's absolutely right. The food system that feeds everybody, guys, it runs on diesel. And people are forgetting this. Tractors, combine harvesters, logistics, HGVs, ships, they all run on diesel.
Diesel runs out fast. Read this, understand it, act on it today, not tomorrow. Today.
Okay, so he's saying read this now, act on it today, not tomorrow. So this is the article here. It's a huge article, guys. It is. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry. I'm not going to expect you guys to read this article, because you know what? I've read it, and I am going to summarize for you. Now, like I said, it's a huge article, and this article will be I have put this article in the description below. So if you guys want to read this yourself, that's absolutely fine. But I will. Honestly, the article is huge. So this link to this is in the description below. But I am gonna summarize this now, so because it would take me forever to read that. Like he's done like 23 videos or something on it. So we all know that this has been coming, right? We all know that if you've been watching this channel, that the whole world runs on diesel, right? Everything's about diesel. Forget everything else, because nothing else matters, right? Diesel's the one that matters. Unless you've got a petrol car, then petrol matters to you. But guess what? Those HGVs that supply Tesco's, Asda, Lidl, I don't know, Morrison's, they all run on diesel, right? Everything runs on diesel. Trains, buses, everything. Think of all the things that run on diesel. So as of today, the Strait of Hormuz has not opened, right? The Strait of Hormuz has not opened. Now, we all know, because I've been doing it to death, around 20% of the world's oil transits through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, That's been effectively closed for 2 months, almost 3 months, since this conflict began. The last tanker from the Middle East reached America on the 3rd of May. Now, the last tanker from the Middle East reached the United Kingdom, I think on like the 15th, I think it was like the 15th of April or something. So there are the experts like Jeff Curry from the Carlyle Group have been crystal clear on Bloomberg. Europe hits tank bottom sometime this month, May 2026. That's when Europe hits. We're done. That's what they're saying. Europe hits tank bottom, as in the bottom of the tank, May 2026. We're Europe, guys. Now, I know what people are thinking right now. Oh, but Sean, there's plenty of fuel in the petrol station. Yeah, there may be now. But guess what? We've learned through history that if you tell people there's a shortage, they go out and bulk buy. And then the shortage comes quicker, right? The real shortage comes quicker. At some point, we're going to run out, guys. That's the reality. That's the harsh reality. If the government tell people that there's going to be shortages, fuel shortages, that will happen a lot quicker. Now, think about this in your house, right? Think about this in your house. If there's, I don't know, if there's no money left, if you're running out of money or whatever, or spring onion crisps, you're not going to tell people in your house that there's a shortage because people will panic, and you don't want panic, right? Does any government want panic? Does anybody want panic? I would say not. So it makes no sense. It becomes national security. It becomes a national security issue to keep this information subdued. And that's right. That is right. I would make that decision. I would absolutely make that decision. Right, Sean, should we tell the public that we're going to run out of fuel? Why would we tell them? Oh, they have a right to know. No, they don't. And I'll be honest with you guys, there's a lot of stuff we don't have a right to know. And I agree with that. Look, guys, I'm Team Empire. I'm Team Empire. There's a lot of stuff that the public don't need to know. You just don't need to know. If the government tell people, right, we speculate that by the, I don't know, 28th of May, whatever, the tank's going to be empty. People are going to run out. They're going to panic. They're going to bulk buy. All carnage and chaos is going to break loose. So it makes no sense to do that, right? Up until it actually happens. And in the United States, they're saying that's going to happen around the 4th of July. Tank bottoms isn't just low fuel. It means the remaining oil drops below the level where pumps and pipelines can function. The system itself fails. You can't get the fuel out even if it's physically there. So what he's talking about there is when this fuel comes into the country via whatever reason, it goes into these huge storage containers, right? And then it gets, sent to wherever it needs to go. What they're saying is, once it comes down to and it's dangerously low, it just stops. It just stops. Diesel will run out first, and diesel is the lifeblood of everything, guys. It is. Be under no illusion. Diesel is the lifeblood of the world. Trucks that deliver your food, the tractors in the field, the combine harvesters, the logistics, the refrigerated lorries, they have diesel generators, the supply chain, literally everything runs on diesel. When diesel stops, food stops moving. You can't keep it cool. We're not talking about higher prices. We're talking about empty shelves. We're talking about food not getting to you because it's not there. Now, the numbers are pretty brutal. In the United States, inventories are plunging. Stocks are at their lowest since 2005. We talked about fuel now. Global drawdowns have been running at 10 to 13 million barrels per day. So even if the Strait of Hormuz opened tomorrow, which it is not going to, they're saying it's going to take 12 to 16 weeks for new fuel to reach pumps, and full recovery could take years. So it's going to be a lot worse than that, because remember, what all the estimates are talking about now is if the Strait of Hormuz opens, and I've run out of tea almost, if the Strait of Hormuz opens now, they're expecting that ships are just going to start coming out. That's not going to happen, guys. Those ships need to get in there. They need to fill up. Where are they getting filled up from? Do they have sufficient capacity to fill up? Right? Because a lot of places are stopping pumping now. So you've got Iraq. I know the Iraqis will be the first. I think the Saudi Arabians will be the last. The Iranians, I think they've stopped as well, because they don't have any more storage, right? Once you're pumping that oil, once you're, guys, I've worked on the oil fields, and I do have a little bit of experience, well, quite a lot of experience actually, in this. And when the oil's pumping, it's fine, right? When you can turn the pump off on a switch, easy to turn the pump off. You can't turn it back on. And it comes down to physicalities, right? Imagine a submerged pump in the ground, right? A big pipe with a pump on the end, pumping oil. Little bit of a stone, little bit of a pebble, bit of sand, absolutely fine. It will go through the pump, it will go, right? Once you turn that pump off, all those bits of sand, they all start to settle to the bottom. And because it's not moving, it will calcify, I guess. It will solidify at the bottom. So you can't just turn the pump back on. You have to send an engineer out. He has to pull it out. He has to refurbish. It takes time. The world, I would say the West, everyone has been running on their reserves for the last 2 months, right? Everybody's been running on their strategic reserves for the last 2 months. Now, this is a physical shortage, not just a price spike. While politicians are arguing, families are facing rising fuel costs, potential shortages, and disruption to the food system by this summer. We've been told that there are so many data points now. So many data points. And like I say, guys, I will share the article again. And if you guys want to read this whole article, it's in the description below. There are so many data points now warning about food shortages this summer. It's unbelievable. It's almost at a critical mass. Europe will be feeling this the hardest. We're just so reliant on fuel from other countries, especially in the United Kingdom, right? America will follow on. The knock-on effects will reach every corner of the globe, including here in the United Kingdom. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen, we don't produce any fuel. We are net importers of fuel. So obviously, the world is not going to end, but normal life as we know it is about to change. It's going to be faster than most people expect. And I really believe that, guys. I believe this is going to come faster than people expect. So what should you guys do right now? I hear you guys are shouting. What should you guys do right now? First thing, and the most important thing that you guys can do, hit that like button. Hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen, and throw a comment up there. And while you're down there fingering that like button, can you hit that subscribe button as well if you've not done so already? It really helps me out. So what else can you do? I'm going to give you guys just generic advice. If somebody was to say to me, Sean, what can we do for the coming dramas? I would say grow potatoes. Literally grow potatoes. That is my go-to. Literally grow potatoes. When you start looking at all the stuff that's happening, you get I don't know, you get a few tins of beans and you put them under the counter, and then you're like, well, you know what? I'm going to buy that. I'm going to put a little bit of spare money. If I've got any spare money at the end of the month or whatever, I'm going to buy X, I'm going to buy Y, I'm going to do this. And then ultimately you start to think, I need to grow my own stuff. ultimately, you need to, like, everybody needs to grow their own stuff. And I get it. Not everybody's going to be in that situation, but that's what I would say. So I would say to everyone, right, this is just generic advice. Start stocking up on non-perishables. Rice, beans, tinned food, long life, extra long life milk, water. Like, I can't tell you guys enough how valuable water is, right? And I can't tell you how vulnerable the UK water system is. It's embarrassingly, it's just embarrassing, you know, it really is. Now, this is because of years of underinvestment and pillaging by international companies. I've talked about that forever, guys, okay? But just I don't want this video to go on forever, but just take that to heed, all right? The water system in the United Kingdom is ridiculously fragile. Every day we have more people coming to this country who are taking from that water source. Now, this is not an anti-immigration migrant crisis video. Those people that come, yes, 1, 2, 10. We now have 200,000 boat migrants in the United Kingdom. So that's 200 more than 200,000 people turning the taps on. And I'm not saying they shouldn't drink. What I'm saying is I'm giving you guys the physicalities. I'm giving you guys the reality. Those pipes that were this big, those pumps that could pump X liters a minute or whatever, they're all now, you know, they're all now at strain because there's more water needs to be cycled. So water, guys, I do believe that, you know, I'm just like, for me, water security is a big thing. You know, I'm ex-military. I've spent a lot of time in the desert. It's just something that, like, it's always on the back of my mind, water. Obviously, if you guys can store fuel, do it. If you guys can legally, I don't know what the legalities are. I think, like, I don't know. For me, I store it in my car. I've got an extended fuel tank, but I don't know. Again, remember right at the beginning of this conflict in the Middle East, I said to everyone, I said, listen, guys, fill up your car right now, because at some point, you know, worst case, best case scenario, the price is going to go up. Worst case scenario, we're going to start to see shortages. And you know, like we're talking about today, guys, it does look like those things are coming. So store fuel if you can do it, I guess, you know, legally and responsibly. Talk to your neighbors, build local resilience. Maybe you can grow potatoes in your garden because your garden has, I don't know, the facilities to grow potatoes, right? Maybe your next door neighbor, maybe they've got a load of pots, right? And they have a load of these, like, beautiful, fancy flowers in their pots. Maybe you'd be better off growing, like, sprouts or cabbages or, like, tomatoes or peppers in them, right? Prioritize what keeps you and your family fed and safe over everything else in the short term right now. We're not talking about panic. This is, you know, we're talking about preparation based on a documented trajectory. The last tanker has already arrived now in the United Kingdom, and the clock is ticking. And I do believe that is, I do believe that's true. There's a little sentence on this. Let me scroll down. Give me a second. Yeah, so I did let that. Do you know, I am going to go through this actually because there's a few little bits I want to touch on. So, and again, these are like all these things, you know, all these things I've been talking about in separate videos. This guy, Mark A. Shriok, you know, he documents them perfectly here. Aviation collapse has already begun. I was talking about this. I was talking about jet fuel. I was talking about all these. It's already happened. I've done videos on this, right? Jet fuel inventories at European, they've fallen below 50% since the war began. And they're not getting resupplied, right? The UK identified as the most risk. I should have had that at the title. Do you know what, guys? I'm going to put that in the title. The UK is identified as the most at risk of jet fuel rationing. Not only jet fuel, guys, but we are ridiculously vulnerable in the United. Look, guys, it's not just me speculating now, okay? Hang on. There's right at the bottom. It's somewhere. This article is huge, guys. It really is. Here we are. What you must do now. Can you guys see that? So what you must do now, this is not a drill. This is not a warning about something that might happen in the distant future. This is happening right now. The countdown is measured in weeks and days in some places. If you are reading this or listening, your survival, what was that? Your survival, there's a fly in here. I hope it's not a wasp because I'm going to have to take it down if it is. Your survival in the next 2 months depends on what you start doing today. Not tomorrow, not this weekend, today. Stop what you are doing and start acquiring things that will keep you and your family alive. Please read this article, guys. This article is in the description. Please read it. There's far too much in this article for me to there's far too much in that article for me to go through. It would take me forever. Literally, like, go and read it in the I've put the article in the description. Right, let me jump onto the chat, guys. David is saying, sure, what do you think the likelihood of them planning this months and years in advance? Do you think it's even possible to think? Oh, absolutely. It is. Yeah, you can definitely plan that far ahead. If you was on my last, I don't know if you was on my, I don't think you was on my last video. I was talking about the rat virus that's in Birmingham. Well, it's not in Birmingham. I was talking about the rat virus and how the media have changed from hantavirus to rat virus. Now, in Birmingham, there is a massive rat problem, and it does look like those rats are almost getting like to a unmanageable state. And the real question is, how long ago has this been planned? What does this button do? It's saying play down what you have. Some neighbors, do you know what? Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Always play down what you've got. Right? It's always better to, it's always better for people to not be a threat. Always play the grey man. Okay, so in the military, if you were being if the bad guys had captured you, you would play the grey man. Applejacks is saying fresh springs are perfect and exactly what you need. Remember where they are. Are we talking about like spring, like vegetables? Caveman is saying Bennett Springs is our biggest spring near us. Physicality is saying 60 humanitarian trucks going into Gaza every day, just pointing out maybe you can ask for their help. Maybe. Silly's saying 600 humanitarian trucks. Applejack's Gaming is saying also growing lettuce inside is so easy. If you only pull a few leaves off every few days, it'll just continue to grow for you. Yeah, so grow potatoes, guys. Really, grow potatoes. I think potatoes is your best thing. It's you get the most calories from your potatoes, but obviously if you don't have the ability, to grow potatoes, just grow what you can. Maramine is thinking, I'm thinking of Lagatha. I'm a Viking. Oh, on what was it? Vikings on History Channel. Austin Barrett is saying dehydrated powdered soup lasts for years. It's cheap and AMO. I don't know what AMO means. Right, listen, guys, I'm going to start to close this down. I am. The crux of this live stream has been a warning to everyone now that we are looking like we're heading for some sort of and this all comes from the diesel shortage, right? 8 weeks to famine. Sorry, 8 weeks to empty shelves, 60 days to famine. This was an article I just read, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Now, I've just summarized that we have had the Strait of Hormuz closed now for over 2 months, right? Over 2 months, almost 3 months. What that means is the world has been dipping into at least its reserves. The United Kingdom is going to be hit exceptionally hard with this, guys. Okay, I don't think there's no off ramp now. There isn't any off ramp. We're not talking about price hikes. We're talking about physically not having that stuff. Now, I want to caveat this. I don't think anybody in the United Kingdom, I don't think there's going to be no food, right? But I think you're going to have to change really quickly. What I do think is you will go to your supermarket and they might only have a few things. Now, I'm fine with that. I've lived like that most of my working life in the Middle East, in Eastern Europe, where, these places are bombed and you go into a shop and you ask them what they've got and they've got some chewing gum and some eggs. You're like, right, okay, I'll take them. But a lot of people can't live like that. A lot of people don't know how to deal with things like that. And very soon, this is going to happen very soon. Now, the reason I feel it's gonna happen so quickly is because it makes absolutely no sense to tell people in the United Kingdom that there are fuel shortages, right? Makes absolutely no sense to tell people. And obviously the world's not going to end, but things are about to change really drastically and really quickly. That's just with the diesel, right? That's just the diesel. Everything's getting effects from the diesel. Then you've got to look at the dynamics in the United Kingdom. There's going to be thieving. There's going to be looting. So what do you know this link-up culture? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So these link-up gangs? How do you think these link-up gangs are going to react when there is food shortages? When the police, think about it, guys, when the police won't come out because they don't have any diesel for their vans. How do you think that's going to work? Do you think that somewhere that, so fuel shortages, right? Let's just say that this is correct. Let's just go with that, right? Let's just say that at the top of that fuel shortage, the most important one is diesel, right? Because you don't get a HGV that runs on petrol, right? You don't get a train that runs on petrol. No, it all runs on diesel. Even jet fuel's a derivative of diesel, and jet fuel's already running out. So when you're in the operations room now, right? Police will have a meeting. They'll have an emergency meeting when it happens, and they'll say, right, okay, we can only go out to certain crimes. And this link-up culture, I promise you guys, I used to do this as a job. I used to do this as a job, and I can tell you what the outcome will be right now. If you guys think I'm wrong, please put it in the chat. Okay, they will be in, the police will be in the ops room, right? And they will say, Right, lads, close in. Yeah, we've got diesel shortages. We've got to come up with a plan. And this will be at government level, right? And what's his name? Mark Carney? Not Mark Carney. Whoever it is. The Home Secretary, right? The Home Secretary will be sat there. The head of the police will be sat there. The head of the ambulance service, the head of the fight. They'll all be sat there and they'll say, right, okay. Well, we need to prioritize, don't we? We need to prioritize where we're going to go. I've worked with the police, quite a lot. And they will say, right, okay, well, let's only go out to critical crimes or something. And they will then put them in a block. Is it violent? Is there a threat to life? Yes, right, we go to them. Link-ups in a supermarket? No, that's shoplifting and the insurance companies can deal with that. Slope them shoulders. Let the insurance company deal with that. That's what's coming, guys. Now, when the link-uppers find out this, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to be like Locust. So act now, guys, all right? Act now. That's what this guy's saying, all right? Act now. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this video down. I'm going to be back on, and I'm going to be giving you guys a UAP UFO update because there's lots of stuff happening on that, guys. There's lots of stuff happening on the UAP UFO updates. X Tech Slots is saying Marmite's a good one, full of goodness and never needs a fridge. I love Marmite, guys. I do. You either love it or hate it. I love Marmite. Chills Deluxe says, grow your own. They'll just flood us out. They control the weather. What does my daughter is vegetarian? Okay. Right, I'm jumping in on your conversations here, guys, aren't I? Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close you guys down. Please read that video below. Read that video. I put an article in the description, guys. Please read that text. It's a huge text. It is. But please take your time just to read through it. The information that he puts in that text is phenomenal. He gives facts. He gives figures. He gives quantities. And, it really resonated with me. So please read that down below, guys. It's called 8 Weeks to Empty Shelves, 60 Days to Famine. Because this is going to be measured now in days and weeks, not months nor years. And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close you guys down now. I'm going to be straight back. Oh, hang on a minute. Michelle's a beekeeper. Right, Michelle. Is Michelle a beekeeper? Because I'm thinking about getting bees for the garden. I'm thinking about getting bees for the garden, for like security. So the back gate, the back like that way. I'm thinking about rather than nobody's going to break into a house or come into somebody's garden if there are bees, right? Can you imagine like attack bees, vicious bees attacking people? Nobody's going to mess about with bees. Anyway, listen, guys, I'm going to close this down now. I'm going to be straight back on with a UAP UFO update because the scene with the alien disclosure is moving forwards. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will close you guys down now, but I'll be straight back on with a UAP update. And please share this video with a friend.